Go ahead.
You're on it.
Hey, welcome to the Jack Dodsons Insider Racing News. I'm Scott Allen. We got Jack Dodson. Damn, I'm terrible. Maddie Ryan.
We still haven't worked out the bugs on him yet.
Well, good luck with that. I'm gonna tell you that because that's working. My wife's been working on that for 20 years.
I ain't gonna say nothing. That woman's got to be she has got to be a blessing.
But we'll have a good show tonight. We'll have Pat Trison on later. Jordan Ives.
Jordan Ives.
Yeah, no, probably. And I'm not even gonna try to pronounce Matt's last name.
De Benedetto.
Okay, yeah, that name.
Matt D.
Yeah.
So when he comes on, just call him Guido.
Guido. I can say Guido. I got that.
Yeah, I saw him in Atlanta, and I hollered, "Hey, Guido!" He knows exactly who it is. Turns right around, look right at me.
So when he calls, we'll say Guido.
Yeah, is this Guido? We'll have Maddie answer. Is this Guido?
No.
He'll be like, I'm supposed to be calling into a show.
All right, we got Maddie Ryan back because we owe her a big one. She was here for the first one, and it did not go well. So we're
surprised she came back.
I thought it went great.
So we're gonna.
You were the only one.
We're gonna start all over again, and gonna start from the very beginning, like we did last time. Tell us what you got on tap for this year coming up.
We just signed with Hot 100.5, the radio station, Jobman USA, which is like a construction clothes company. We are partnered with, once again this year, Anna Marie with Marketing at Full Speed, East Coast Synthetics, Amsoil, Extreme Mechanical, and the Haven Inn, which is our
Does
North
Extreme
Virginia.
Mechanical, they give you anything?
Not really.
Yeah.
They're kind of just a name on the car.
I can't believe she said.
Hey, well, who was it that we had a testament who they kept asking who was the better driver? He said, "Oh, I am."
That was Daniel Hemrick and Kinsey Rustin when we had.
Oh, well, yeah. We're good at stirring something up. We call us PS for a reason.
He definitely.
You know, she pulled that right and threw me under the bus just like that.
Oh, and we also signed with AR Bodies.
So do you have your body yet?
We will in the next week. It's been on back order because of the weather. It's been lovely.
I know. That's a lot of work to do because I think it's a couple of weeks and we'll be back at the track.
Practicing, that's my goal.
Yeah.
So you got everything. You got all the sponsorship lined up.
Yes.
Have you got your crew chief and everything lined up and ready to go?
My daddy once again.
Oh, okay.
And I got
He can't mess up enough to get fired, huh?
No. He's paying for this.
So you
I understand.
can't fire Dad.
So the radio station, do you have any things worked out with the radio station where you'll be calling in and doing any things like that? Have y'all talked about that?
Yes, we are going to be. We have, I think, we have up to 5 minutes of radio time, like per week. So you'll be hearing me a lot on there.
No, that'd be cool.
Starting in a few weeks, and it'll be a lot of announcements of Langley and when the races will be and whatnot.
And that's cool, and that's good for your other sponsors.
Yes.
I mean, it certainly would help sell a sponsor too.
And not only that, but we'll be doing tons of events with them. So it's going to be, sponsors are going to be getting exposure nonstop.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm. It is. We went to an event.
Perks.
It was a blast. We went to a concert at the Eagle's Nest a few weeks ago. The singer of Sugarland, or the songwriter Christian, as well as Kanan Smith was another one, as well as the Railers. They all played, and it was a lot of fun. The people from Max Media are a lot of fun.
Yeah. You generally get the radio people.
I got to meet everybody. I got to meet all the artists, and it was
it's kind of fun when you go to those things. They think you're somebody, you know.
Yeah, they think I'm somebody, but I'm like, no, you're somebody.
Right, yeah.
This comes from somebody who walks around the arena race in a Kevin Harvick suit. Hey, he thinks he's somebody.
Hey, you fake it till you make it.
That's right. I thought you were getting ready to go somewhere with that, but Because I know somebody.
Hey, it's funny how many
He's
people
driving like him. It's okay.
Yeah. It's funny though,
He's driving like who? Did she say she was driving like Kevin Hunter?
He thinks he is.
right. Up here.
Well, yeah, that's the only place.
But it is funny though. I do some events for Miles, and we were at
Mhm.
the convention center this weekend. How many people walk up and you can't. And it's funny because they think you're really somebody, and I'm just like, well, who are you? I'm nobody. You know what I mean? And I had one woman just like, oh, my husband's going to. I got to get a picture with him. I'm like, okay. It's so funny because they think you're really some big name, and you're. I'm Jack.
I wish I'd have gone to that thing now because that would have been fun to watch. Because that would have been.
I tell you, the funny part was when this lady comes up. She's like, I got somebody in my family races with you. I'm like, oh, who's that? And she's like, Scott. I'm like, Scott who? She said, Scott Perlman. I'm like, oh. She said, I'm his mother-in-law. I'm like, oh. So we were headed out last year. She said, yes, y'all did. I was like, then we got talking for a minute. I said, let's take a picture and post it on Facebook. She said, oh, yeah, I'll tag Scott in it. It'll be so funny. I'm sorry, let's do it.
Wow.
At least it turned out to be funny. At first, I was like, oh, your daughter was about to kill me the last time I seen her. She's like, yeah.
All right, we're talking about Maddie now. You're racing.
Oh, yeah,
not
I'm
sorry.
We're actually trying to get Scott Perlman out of retirement to come help us on six.
Scott's a good guy.
Then we're not going to talk bad right now.
That means Scott are in good terms. Scott's a good guy.
Honestly, Scott he knows a race car.
I used to race against
Yeah. So, well, my son worked for him when Travis Miller was doing the Hooters Cup stuff, and he learned a lot from Scott. Scott knows his stuff. Just his attitude sometimes, You're all right with me though, but
If you watch.
but he's a good guy. He knows his stuff. Yeah. So now tell us about the trip to Florida. You told us last time, but we didn't hear you.
Oh. This past September it was. We went to Florida, the Women's Prosperity Networking event. Sorry, it's a long name. That was with Anna Marie Strawhan. She took me and two other drivers up there, and we met a lot of honestly very, very inspiring people, just in general and business wise. And my team and we learned a lot.
So did you make any contacts there that could down
yes,
the road?
we made a ton. I have a stack of business cards in my room, probably about that big, from just those 2 days. And we met Dwayne Cummings, which we actually, second day we were there, I think it was, he was just so inspired by all of us that he each gave us a $5,000 check, which that helped a lot.
Wow.
That helped a lot towards the beginning of just getting everything off the ground this season and everything. And it was a big deal for my family and I, because it meant a lot to us, just knowing that somebody thought that much. Yeah. Not only just me, but of just my family in general. It was a big deal, and it meant a lot to us. And Kim, his wife, was the one that was really like, let's do this, to her husband, and we miss them dearly. We haven't seen them in quite a while, and we'll be hopefully meeting up with them sometime soon in the next few months.
And that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, there's not that many people in racing over there at Langley Speedway that gets that kind of money. Mm-hmm. Honestly, a lot of it is family money they're working and paying for themselves. So, I don't care if you got $1,000 or $5,000. That's a big deal. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
The stigma that's attached to females in racing. Mm-hmm. I hear it all the time. Where do you see yourself in a few years? I know that was a question we asked you before. Where do you see yourself within 5 years?
Within 5 years, I would at least like to be in the Xfinity series, and within probably the next 5 years, I would like to see myself there. My goal is within the next 3 years to get into a K&N car. Our plan next year is to race late models full time, if we can get the financial backing. But that's gonna be a big step because.
So you're gonna be doing some limited late models this year.
Yes,
if you can work it out.
We are hopefully going to be doing a few limited late models. If we also maybe a few late races even at Langley, if we can get maybe possibly a
some
company,
tire money.
Yeah, some tire money, gas money.
Well,
and we did test Mark Roberts. Or sorry, we're just talking about Mark. Sorry, Mark Wirtz late model last year, his backup car, and that went really, really well.
Were you intimidated?
No, I really I had mentally prepared myself beforehand, so I was ready to get in the car when we hit the track that day. And I mean, second practice out, I was already hitting the chip halfway down the straightaway. So it was.
Did you follow Mark? No, just on your own?
No, I was on my own because they were getting their car rebuilt, their main car rebuilt. So it was just me on the track, and it was.
Did he give you any instructions while you were going off?
Yes, he did give me some instructions, but there was some complications with the radio and everything, so I couldn't really hear him much. But it was kind of just me on my own, and he did help me a lot though, instruction wise, and teaching me certain things about the car.
Where to get on, where to get off the gas.
Oh, I got that far.
I got that. But I'm not on your grade, Scott.
Well, see, when you're out at Langley, Scott, all you do is push the gas and go, and hope somebody pulls you along. You know.
Whatever.
She actually has 2 pedals in there.
I got 2. I just don't use the one. Even if they wreck in front of me, I just keep using the one on the right.
Now you got Sean Beluzzo is helps you along the way. What all has he done for you as far as instruction wise?
He spotted me quite a bit last year, and he was a very good spotter. He was aggressive, but
when you say aggressive, what do you mean?
He was aggressive, meaning he'd put my butt in place when I needed to be, but he was also a very good motivator.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
But that's what you need, and it works better when somebody else besides your parent spots for you, because it just doesn't work.
It's not good when
you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I did yell at him one time last year on the radio, and it was like.
You yelled at who?
That's all it takes.
My dad.
I
was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
See, one of the things
you wouldn't say that to Sean.
No, I'm scared to.
He's
like a fireball.
Yeah, he is a fireball.
But you can't say things like that to your dad because if you
He's
say things like
that,
eventually the wallet goes back in the pocket. He
wants to see me out there as much as I want to be out there. So.
Well, that's a
mutual agreement.
That's a good
thing.
mutual
agreement.
It was a pleasure to have Sean get in our car last year, and Madison outran him
by a second.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but he's going to get in the car this year and help her out.
Yeah, and Sean's been around a long time, and that's great feedback to get, because sometimes you don't know. You don't have the experience those guys have.
He hates first
but the biggest thing is you don't know until somebody else gets in your car and says or confirms what you're saying. Sometimes sometimes you don't matter what you do, you can't seem to get anything going right. Sometimes
it opens up communication between us. Because then I have another driver's feedback coming in, telling me what the car is doing, and then we can explain to her, okay, well, this is what it's actually doing.
And then terminology sometimes helps too, because sometimes you might. I know it's hard to say.
Me being a little call from me not being being around racing as long. The communication wise, a little bit different.
Yeah.
Answer or ignore.
Guido? Is this Guido?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey man, how you doing?
Oh, not bad. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad we finally caught up with you now.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, look, it's been a rough 2 weeks for you, and tell us what's going on there. And are you going to Phoenix this week?
Yeah. We are flying out on Thursday, and so I'm gonna give it another go this week. We should hopefully have all the bugs worked out by now. We've definitely had some crazy issues the past 2 weeks in a row. So they've been some rough ones.
Explain to me your take on the Atlanta inspection situation. Now, I know you got caught up in it, and it cost you, but there was some big name guys that got caught up in that.
Yeah, that was great. At least we definitely can't call any discrimination on that, because I mean it was just everybody got caught up in it. I guess everyone was having the same issue or similar issues going through tech, so I'm not sure why that was that everyone was having the same problem. But yeah, I mean it was definitely tough for us because we had a shot to make the race. At least based on points for sure, we had a good shot at making them. But it was kind of a difficult deal. But it's ultimately NASCAR's decision, and I definitely don't want to. I got asked that question a bunch. A bunch of people came up to me and were interviewing and asking what I thought about it. And I've learned over the years, it's just I didn't say much. I just kind of was like, hey, NASCAR's decision. I don't want to get myself in trouble, and whatever they decide to do, they do, and we're.
Well, I saw you walking around the garage after that, and I knew you were totally dejected with the whole thing, and it actually cost you more than it cost a lot of other guys because you didn't even get a chance to race that race, and it just to me there was a lot of stuff there that I didn't understand as far as why the same deal affected so many cars.
Yeah, exactly. It was. Well, I was a little bit upset, but it still did. Ended up being a good. I got to run one lap of practice because we had problems, but I ran one lap of practice, and the one lap we ran was actually a good. We were actually right up to speed first lap ever. Our car felt like it was actually going to be good. I got one lap in and was ready for qualifying. It was fine. We ran right on par with both of our teammates' best laps and race trim. So on our first lap ever on track, so I felt like going to qualifying would be just fine. And Atlanta was a really good track for me too. So I was 100% comfortable. But it'll make for some good stories down the road. So I mean, I've been through block crazier things, so it wasn't anything that caught me too off guard. It was different for sure, but glad to be part of the team and hopefully get to race this week at Phoenix.
So now last week at Vegas, well, you didn't make the race there. What kind of situation does that leave you as far as points and going to a place like Phoenix this coming weekend? You pretty much got to get in on speed.
This weekend we're a little bit different. We have a little different circumstances because the points change over now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, so now it switched over to this year's points, which actually my car, the 83, has the most points of all three cars on our team because of Johnny Sauter finished 18th at Daytona, I believe.
Yeah.
So even though we missed both the last two races based on some crazy stuff, we are actually still 39th in owners points, and JJ is 40th, and Jeb Burton is 44th, I believe. And we're actually ahead of quite a few good cars. So obviously, I'd love to qualify in on speed. So hopefully, our cars are good this weekend. Are good enough to qualify in on speed, which would be great. But if it somehow does come down to points or that crazy deal, our car is actually in a really good position for this weekend.
Well, that's good. So, how many races are you going to be in the car for the year? I mean, is there a certain set amount, or is it the rest of the season?
There's really no set amount. It's I didn't even know I was going to be running these these few here, I didn't know I was doing the whole West Coast swing any. It just kind of keeps on piling up. And if we keep the 83 good in point, then, you know, maybe we'll want to keep on running it because, you know, you don't want to take a car out of the mix that has, you know, really good points and then nearly locked in the races. So I'm not sure what the exact plan is. I'm just glad to be racing, and I'm, you know, the more they want to do, the merrier. I'm, you know, happy to, obviously, I'd love to do the full season. It would be great, but, you know, I'll just do the best job that I can behind the wheel. I still have to prove myself, I feel like, because I haven't gotten to race, obviously, yet. So I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, you know. I don't want to get too far down the line. I got to prove myself to the team and make sure they're happy with me. And as long as I do that, then I feel like we might get to run a ton of races.
You know, I was looking today at your Facebook, and I saw a picture of a few years ago when you were at Hickory Motor Speedway running those mini stocks. And it brought back a lot of memories. Tell us what it was like to race at Hickory and get your start there, where a lot of people have gotten their start.
Oh man, I loved it, especially because Hickory Motor Speedway was about 10 minutes from my house, so that was even nicer. But I loved racing there because there was a lot of history there, a lot of, you know, people that have been through there and been started there, so it was cool to add my name to that list. I just loved it. That was home for me. So I raced 2000. I ran some Legends races there in 2003 and 4, and then in 2005 I won the championship in the Pro 4 class, and then in 2006 won the limited late model championship there, and then I moved on to the UARS late model touring series. So I didn't get to run that quite as much, but yeah, I love running that Hickory. It's cool place with a lot of history.
Yeah, I remember when you were out there, and there was a lot of guys. Pete Silva was out there then.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, because I saw it in your picture. It had one of your pictures. It had his car in the background.